Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk a little bit about spatial terminology in architecture, and we will explore key concepts and relationships. So let's get started with understanding spatial terminology. And the first term is distortive. So, distortive elements intentionally alter form or space, challenging perceptions and creating visual intrigue. This technique highlights differences by manipulating the viewer's understanding of reality, making it a powerful tool in architectural design. Our next term is displacement. And displacement involves the reorganization of spatial elements to create new relationships and interactions. This technique can significantly transform user experience by altering paths and influencing movement within a space. The next term is enclose. An enclosure defines a space by surrounding it, often generating a sense of protection and intimacy. This can be achieved through walls, landscaping, or other elements that delineate boundaries and establish a distinct environment. Our next term in this section is disjunctive. Disjunctive design emphasizes fragmentation, creating tension through disconnected elements. This approach often results in dynamic architectural forms that challenge traditional spatial relationships and invite exploration. Let's talk about edges. They serve as the defining boundaries of forms and spaces, impacting visual perception and usability. Their characteristics are as follows: sharp, blurred, or implied, and they can enhance the interaction between different architectural elements. The corners are where two surfaces meet, establishing transitions in both form and space. They can create pivotal moments in design that influence movement and sight lines within a structure. Our next term is a diagram. Diagrams provide simplified relations of spatial and they are essential for communicating design and concepts. They serve as visual tools that depict the spatial organization and interaction of elements in a project. Our next term is contraction. And contraction in design refers to the intentional reduction of space, creating focus and emphasizing particular features. This method can enhance functionality and alter how users interact with the space. Detail is another important term, and detailing refers to the meticulous refinement of materials and forms in architecture. These specifics contribute significantly to the aesthetic character and functional integrity of a design, influencing both perception and usage. Envelope is another great term to know, and enveloping involves wrapping or covering a space or form, adding layers and depth to the design. This technique can enhance both aesthetic appeal and spatial experience through visual complexity. So, next we are going to talk about some additional spatial concepts. And the first one here on our list is context. Context includes the surrounding environment, cultural, or physical setting. It influences design decisions by providing essential cues that affect spatial perception and relationship with external elements. Let's talk about datum. A datum serves as a reference point, line, or plane that organizes spatial relationships effectively. This concept aids designers in maintaining coherence and alignment within their projects, ensuring functional success. Another term is to connect, and connecting spaces and forms fosters intimacy and functionality in design. It emphasizes relationships between different areas within an architectural context, enhancing user experience and navigation. Explicit space, that's the next term, and that space refers to clearly defined areas perceived through physical boundaries or forms. This concept is crucial for delineating functional zones within a structure, promoting clarity in spatial organization. Expansion is another great term, and that involves enlarging or extending space to create openness and continuity. This architectural strategy facilitates flexibility, allowing for adaptable environments that can change with user needs. Exterior. The exterior represents the outer surface or envelope of a structure. It defines a building's interaction with the surrounding environment, contributing to aesthetic appeal and functionality. Insertive, that's another term, and that refers to the act of placing an element into an existing context. This approach can enhance functionality or visual interest, creating dynamic interactions within a design. Extension. This is our next term. An extension refers to projecting or lengthening a form or space to create continuity. This concept is essential in establishing flow and cohesion between different areas of a design. Another important terminology is figure-ground. The figure-ground relationship describes the interaction between a defined object or figure and its surrounding space or ground. It plays a crucial role in spatial hierarchy, informing design decisions. Our next term is implied or implicit space. Implied space refers to areas suggested through visual cues rather than explicit boundaries. This concept allows for an exploration of spatial perception, enriching user experience without physical confines. Our next step is to discuss the spatial relationships, and we will talk about the next set of terms, and the first one is invert. Inversion in architecture refers to reversing typical spatial relationships, transforming conventional environments into extraordinary experiences. This technique challenges standard perceptions and invites users to engage with space unusually. Intervention involves inserting new design elements into existing spaces, adapting them to better meet contemporary needs. This approach can revitalize structures, enhancing their relevance and usability while preserving historical context. Line is another great term, and lines in architecture are essential for defining form and directing flow within spaces. They can create visual connections, enhance structure, and dictate the perceived movement of users through a design. Intervene is the next term, and to intervene is to modify existing spaces intentionally, enhancing their functionality or aesthetics. It involves thoughtful consideration of form and user experience, often leading to innovative design solutions that respond to specific challenges. Let's talk about the layered space. Layered space utilizes multiple planes and depth to create complexity within a design, contributing to a richer spatial experience. These layers can enhance visibility, interaction, and emotional responses to the environment. Our next term is intersection. Intersections are crucial points where different spaces or elements converge, facilitating movement and interaction. They create opportunities for dynamic spatial relationships that enhance the user experience through varied encounters. Let's talk about itinerary. An itinerary in architecture refers to a planned sequence of movements through a space. This concept shapes users' experiences and interactions, guiding them through intentional pathways that reveal distinct spatial narratives. The next term is linear. Linear arrangements organize elements along a defined axis, promoting clarity and coherence. This approach enhances spatial flow and can guide user movement effectively, thereby influencing their overall experience. Join is another term, and joining elements in architectural design refers to the intentional connections made between different materials or spaces. This concept is fundamental in creating unity and coherence within a structure, emphasizing craftsmanship and detail. Link. Links in architecture describe the pathways or connections bridging various spaces or elements. Effectively designed links enhance accessibility and interaction, promoting a seamless transition between different areas of a structure. So that was that third part, and now we are going to talk about the material considerations. And the first term in this section is materiality. Materiality refers to the qualities and characteristics of materials used in architecture, including their texture, color, and weight. These elements significantly contribute to both the structural integrity and sensory perception of a space. Our next one is matrix. A matrix serves as a structured framework or grid to organize spatial and conceptual elements within a building. It guides the relationships and interactions among spaces, enhancing functionality and clarity in design. Measure. Measure entails the quantitative assessment of space, scale, and dimensions in architecture. Accurate measurements ensure harmony and functionality in design, impacting flow and usability of spaces. Negotiate. In architecture, negotiation involves resolving spatial, functional, or conceptual challenges. It requires balancing competing needs, ensuring that the design meets both aesthetic and practical requirements. Our next term is opacity. Opacity is the quality of materials that blocks light, creating a sense of solidity or privacy in spaces. This influences the atmosphere and user experience by mediating light interaction within environments. Module is another great term, and a module is a standard unit or component in architectural design that is often repeated to form larger systems. This modular approach supports scalability and consistency across designs, enhancing efficiency. 9 square. The 9 square strategy divides a space into 9 equal parts, serving as a compositional framework in design. This method allows architects to explore spatial organization, balance, and dynamics effectively. Repetition is another term, and repetition in architectural design involves the recurrence of elements, creating rhythm, unity, and coherence. This technique reinforces identity and familiarity within the built environment. Let's talk about rhythm specifically. Rhythm is the sense of movement or flow within architectural design, achieved through repeated patterns or forms. It adds dynamism and continuity, guiding users through spaces and enhancing their experience. And that was it for our spatial terminology in architecture. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm posting the videos about architecture and design regularly. So please like this video if you found it useful. And thank you again. Good luck with all your new endeavors. Bye.